Today, on Guess What I Found Out, we're going to discover some facts about invisible barriers in the ocean, because apparently even fish need passports. Yeah, curious, George? That endless blue thing you call the ocean? It's not one big, happy aquarium. It's more like a liquid patchwork quilt made of 30 separate neighborhoods, each with its own rules, residents, and HOA that hates outsiders. The ocean, the thing covering 70% of Earth, isn't one big connected ecosystem. It's actually broken into 30 biogeographic realms, and nearly half of marine species live in just one of them. So, next time you hear life finds a way, you can say, actually, it doesn't cross the Wallace line, Karen. Before we dive in, literally, hit that like button. It lets YouTube know you enjoy watching me bullyfish with geography. Here's the wild part, Curious George. About 42% of all marine species live in only one ocean region. That's right, even sea creatures have cliques. Sea lions? They're in every ocean except the North Atlantic, which has perfect temperature, prey and beachfront property. So what gives? Apparently the sea lions said, nah, we don't do that side of town. Welcome to Biogeography, the science of figuring out why some animals live here and not over there. It's basically ecology meets Google Maps, but for every jellyfish, whale and crab that's too lazy to file a travel visa. Long before modern GPS or plate tectonics, one very observant Victorian man named Alfred Russell Wallace noticed something weird. On the islands of Bali and Lombok, separated by just a few miles, the animals were completely different. Bali had placental mammals, think apes and elephants. Lombok had marsupials and monotremes, basically kangaroos and egg-laying furballs, like the platypus. So here's the thing. Same climate, same forests, same distance apart, but totally different animal universes. Wallace was basically like, what invisible force field is separating them? That so-called force field actually became the Wallace line, which is a literal biological border running right through Indonesia. It's the line that pretty much defines who hops and who lays eggs. Later on, he published The Geographical Distribution of Animals in 1876. And yeah, he totally called out these invisible fences stretching across land and sea. And remember, this was before we even knew continents move. Wallace was mapping life zones like a Victorian Tony Stark, decades ahead of his time. If you're still here and haven't liked this video yet, congratulations, you've already crossed more barriers than most fish ever will. Here's what Wallace didn't know. The continents weren't fixed. Plate tectonics hadn't been discovered yet. He didn't know about continental drift, or that deep ocean ridges literally push continents apart like a slow-motion breakup. Today, we know those tectonic boundaries are the reason different oceans and their species stay separated. Take the Wallace line again. It sits on the meeting point of 4 tectonic plates, creating a deep underwater trench. Even during ice ages, when sea levels dropped, that trench never surfaced, so no kangaroos ever hopped to Bali and no elephants ever swam to Lombok. And yes, the currents down there are so strong they make salmon cry. So, hey, it's not just about land. The ocean itself is packed with barriers you can't see, but honestly, every fish totally respects. About 45 of them, in fact. These barriers are made by differences in temperature, salinity, depth, and currents. They're kind of like invisible TSA checkpoints. Here's an example, the Channel Islands off California. The western islands hang out in cold, oxygen-rich subarctic water, while the eastern ones just chill in warm tropical water. The result? 2 totally different ecosystems just a few miles apart. It's like splitting California into Team Sushi and Team Fish Taco. Hit subscribe before I start naming ocean currents like celebrity couples. The California countercurrent already sounds like a yacht rock band. Of course, some species are the overachievers of the ocean, the plankton and megafauna. They don't care about your invisible walls. Humpback whales are found in every ocean, yet even they're divided by migration schedules. Northern whales feed in the Arctic during summer. Southern whales do the same in Antarctica. They never meet, never mingle, never send postcards. Genetic studies show they've been apart so long they're evolving into 3 separate subspecies, basically, whales with different accents. Even the wide-roaming species prove the rule. The ocean is connected, but not that connected. Now, let's talk about our slippery drama kings, the sea lions. These guys are found everywhere, except the North Atlantic. Not because they couldn't survive there. The water's perfect. They just never made it. 5 million years ago, the Central American Seaway connected the Atlantic and Pacific, letting animals like whales, dolphins and sharks cruise between oceans like it was a toll-free highway. But when tectonics slammed the door shut and Panama rose up, that seaway vanished. The trapped sea lions evolved in the Pacific, spreading south, but the Atlantic? They never got an invite back. Why not? Because the Amazon River turned into a giant freshwater barrier, dumping 200,000 cubic meters per second into the ocean. That low salinity plume basically became an anti-sea lion force field. So yeah, the Amazon didn't just stop boats, it stopped sea lions too. So now that we've established the ocean is a moody patchwork quilt guarded by 45 invisible walls, here's the real takeaway. Each biogeographic realm, from the Arctic's frozen shelves to the coral-rich Indo-Pacific, is its own unique world. If you lose one, you don't just lose a few fish. You lose an entire evolutionary experiment. That's why, ocean conservation isn't just save the whales. It's really save all 30 oceans within one ocean. So let's wrap up that bold claim, Curious George. The ocean isn't one big happy blue home. It's actually a network of 30 distinct realms, divided by 45 invisible barriers, shaped by tectonics, currents, and, time. We saw it with Wallace's brilliant island discoveries, tectonic movement creating deep-water boundaries, sea lions stopped by freshwater whales divided by migration, and ecosystems separated by just a few degrees of temperature. The ocean may look endless, but honestly, it's secretly the most divided place on Earth. So, Curious George, got any weird ocean facts that totally bend your brain? Drop them in the comments.